Hi! Today we're going to walk through Trifecta's Commerce Microsite Accelerator for your Salesforce Commerce environment. This solution is for existing Salesforce Commerce on Core B2B or D2C customers needing a fully headless and composable solution for creating dynamically styled and branded microsites. So we have a manufacturer of lighting fixtures called Lighting Connections. They currently have Commerce Encore. They have a D2C storefront. Here you can see this is their Salesforce instance, and they manufacture lighting fixtures. They have a lot of different lighting dealers that sell the same set of products. The dealers have their own headless commerce sites to sell these products with their own custom branding. Our first example is Luminosity. We also have Well Lit Lighting, which is another dealer. And then we have Shine Lighting Fixtures. That's our third dealer that's currently set up. So you'll note that all these storefronts are pretty standard commerce sites. They have the navigation bar here that you would expect, as well as the ability to access your cart. We have an image carousel here, so you can show off the latest lighting fixtures. In the middle of the page, we have category images, which take you into the category landing pages. And at the bottom of the page, there's a footer that includes social media links. So all of these sites are set up with the same structure, so the users all have a similar experience. Another great feature is that the sites are mobile responsive. For example, to show the responsiveness, we'll compress the window down to the size of a mobile phone. You'll notice that the navigation bar compresses here and restructures as you would expect to see on a mobile application. So it is mobile responsive. We're using a set of templates called Chakra UI, which are the e-commerce templates. This is meant to be a starting point, and your organization can customize as you see fit. We can extend these for whatever your user experience needs would be. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at setting up a new dealer for Lighting Connections. So we're going to come back over here into Salesforce, and we're going to switch over to our Commerce Microsites application. And before we do get into setting up the site here, I want to show you the products real quick. So we click on the products view here and see the list of our lighting fixtures. What we've done is we've actually added some additional attributes to the product object to support the microsites functionality. So right now, as I mentioned, this all sells out of the same catalog. A follow-up phase for this accelerator will allow the ability to select individual catalogs and price books per storefront. Right now, all the storefronts sell the same set of products, and it's basically determined by the checkbox below the microsite expanded section. If you check that checkbox on the product, it becomes available on the microsites. So again, this is a starting point. This can all be customized. We have the URL ID here that will show on the product detail page. We have some additional attributes here around short description, long description. Again, we can add whatever additional attributes that would be needed to show on a product detail page. In addition to those attributes, we also have product media here, where we can set the different images that I'll show for this product when you're in the product detail page. We'll take a look at those product detail pages after we get our site set up. So we're going to come over here to our Commerce microsites. Again, these are the configurations for the storefronts. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to use this Clone Me one to just clone and make the setup a little bit quicker for this demo. Then we can come in here and set up a new site. You'll notice that there's a published status here. It starts as draft. That means it has not been published yet. If it's not been published, the changes are not out in, running as part of the headless portion of it. So the front end has not received those changes yet. So in this case, that makes sense because it's a brand new site. Once we publish it, the published status will switch to published. We also have this active flag here, and this allows us to basically take these microsites and turn them on and off. So if you have a use case where you want to have a site active for a period of time and then deactivate it and then maybe make it available again next year at the same time. So it might be a seasonal type of site that you want to kind of turn on. You can just deactivate it and then reactivate it without having to reconfigure everything. So that's what the active flag is for. So we're going to make our site active here. We're going to give this our URL ID. So this is basically to the subdirectory of the main domain where you'll find this site. So we're going to call it Scott Lighting. This is where we tie it to our commerce on Core Storefront. So we had our D2C storefront that we've got enabled here in Salesforce. So we're going to tie it to that one. Though if you had multiple web stores, you could tie it to a different one that you would choose from the store options that are available. Then we have the ability here with this initial MVP to put a site-wide discount percentage of your selection. Let's set a discount for our sites now. We're looking at adding the ability to set different price books for these with a future version of this. But this gives you sort of the ability to take a standard price book that you might be using and just give a flat discount if that was something you wanted to do. Then we're going to give our site a title. And that's basically going to be the small label that shows in your tabs up here. Let's set the title to be Scott's Lighting Fixtures. And then we get down here in the branding. And this is where I kind of preloaded this from this cloned version just to make this go a little faster. The future releases will have color pickers here, so you don't have to enter the RGB values. Below this, we have the social media fields that will show in the footer of the site. If you have any social media you would like to display, this is where you'll insert those links. For this example, Scott's Lighting Lab only has a Facebook and a Twitter account. When the other fields are left blank, their icons won't appear on the site, so there's no need to worry about that. This is just some debugging information that we currently have for demo purposes, though we would remove it for an implementation. So what we can do now is save this. Now, before we can go and hit publish, there's one more thing we're going to cover. Let's navigate over to our related tab so we can add site media. This is basically where we will go to set the media on our site. See in this dropdown, we have the list of media we can change from here. First is the home banner images, then the header and footer logos. Having these separate gives you an extra layer of customization. As time goes by, we'll add more types of content to this section. So let's set these fields. I'm going to create a couple new items of site media. To do this, I'm setting the type and including the URL to my desired image or logo. Then I'm clicking Save and Add New. All right, so now that we have a bunch of media saved, our next step is to publish. But first, let's review the details page to ensure our fields are correct. Now that this is published and it's active, we should be able to go view this site. Let's use this URL ID to view the site for Scott's Lighting Lab. We actually have a little cheat sheet here that we can see all of our active sites on. Now we're on Scott's Lighting. We can see that the URL matches the URL ID that we set earlier. We have the specific logo for Scott's Lighting Lab as well as our specific brand colors. You can see that the site structure is the same as the other sites. Customers get a standard experience with the benefits of having unique branding. Let's head into the product list pages for the categories here. So like chandeliers, wall lights, or outdoor lights, we can go into one of these products and take a look. I'll show you the general product detail page. You'll see it's applied our 10% discount here across the board. It has our descriptions and our additional information for the product. You can also add the desired quantity to cart. Now let's go back out. We can just add to the cart right from here too. So regardless of which page we are on when adding to cart, our cart icon now updates here to show that there's one item in there. So let's go and we'll pick a different product here to add. I like this one. So we're going to go ahead and add to cart right here. We also have control over the quantity, so we could put 3 in the cart. We can change our quantity right on the product detail page here. And again, these pages can be just a starting point. We can customize these to display the important information that you need to include. Let's take a look at some other products. For a listing like the one for this aluminum LED wall cheer, we are able to have multiple product images. So if we have multiple images, like I showed you on the Product tab, you can see those here and scroll through them for a full view of the item. And then we also have a category called All, which doesn't really break them down by category. It has all the products here. So this is where you can see a full array of all the products being offered. One thing we don't have hooked in for this initial version is search. That's something we would add in a future release. We can certainly talk about adding external search services, something like Coveo or Alcoholia. The nice thing about this solution is that it is fully composable. We can hook in different tax services, search, or anything else your business may want for your desired user experience. We have a lot of options for customizing. Now let's go back to our cart here. So we see we've got our items in the cart that we have selected, and you can also change the quantity from here. So we're going to change this to 2. It updates the total here. And then what we can do is we can start our checkout process. The pretty standard, what you're used to seeing with an e-commerce checkout. There's the order summary and open fields for shipping information. I'll fill those out quickly. After we click Next, what's actually happening here is now this makes a call back to Salesforce. It's going to send the data in the cart back to Salesforce. So if we come back over into our Salesforce instance here and we look up carts, you can actually see this new one here. This pending closed cart is the one we're currently working on. So let's open that up and take a look. You see, here's the 2 items that we've got. We haven't selected our shipping, so we don't see that information on here yet. But as we select that, it'll update as well. So we're already getting data back in Salesforce from this commerce site. You could set up flows around these carts, like abandoned cart notifications, or any kind of automation that you would typically do. All of that would be done in Salesforce. So if we go back out to our site here, we can look at the shipping method. We just have flat rate shipping that we've done for this MVP, but you can tie this into whatever you have set up for your commerce storefront in Salesforce. The plugin services that you can use for things like pricing, inventory, taxes, shipping, those are all utilized by these sites. So they actually call through the API and call out. So it's using what you've already got set up in Salesforce. If you want to set up a different type of shipping for the microsites, you could also set up a different web store from your primary one and set up a different shipping integration there. Right now, our shipping plugin is just returning these 2 flat rate shipments, but we could certainly connect this to a ShipStation or something like that. So the nice thing is it's using what you've already got built. So we click on our standard shipping, then when we hit Next, what it's going to do is call back in the Salesforce. It's going to call that shipping plug, and it's going to get the shipping cost, and it's going to call the tax plug in and get the tax cost as well. Again, you could hook it up to Avalara or Vertex or, whatever you typically use for taxes. Right now, we just have a flat tax rate, but that's something that we can certainly hook up. And then you get the opportunity to override your billing information if it's different than your shipping information. Ours isn't. So we'll just keep it the same, and then we click Next. What we've done here for this is we've implemented Stripe as the first payment provider. We can certainly hook this into others' CyberSource, authorizing any other payment provider that you use. We chose Stripe because it's a great starting point. The card information here is not being stored anywhere on the microsite or on Salesforce for security and privacy. It is fully PCI compliant. It's actually calling over on Stripe servers, and it encodes this information into a token that we get back. The token is then passed into Salesforce to do the payment authorization through Stripe. When we place this order, the tokenized information will get passed back to Salesforce. Again, it's going to go through your payment plugin to call out to Stripe with that token and get the authorization back. So again, this is all PCI compliant, and we're not storing any card information anywhere. And then you could do the capture at a later time. We haven't implemented capture with this because that's typically done as part of your order processing once you get into the fulfillment process. So we can place our order here. Click that. What you'll get here is a confirmation page. Again, this can be customized with a sort of generic order number in this spot here, so you have lots of flexibility with the capabilities for your sites. Now that the order is submitted, we will have a confirmation sent. We've received the email confirmation in our inbox that we can take a quick look at together right here. We've implemented a simple email template, but we can override the template to suit your business while delivering the confirmation and order details. Now, let's take a look at the Salesforce view of this since we've explored the site and made our purchase. We're going to log into Salesforce and go to our Commerce application. From there, we can switch the view to see our order summaries. Now what it's done is it's actually taken that cart. It's created an order from it, activated it to create the order summary. If we go to all, we should see the newest one, which is going to be 119 that we just created. And now your summary's in Salesforce in the Commerce system, just like you would take through your main Commerce site. So you can now route this through order management through LMS to start doing your fulfillment. You can surface this information up in Service Cloud and in Sales Cloud. It's available to see like any other commerce order, since at its core, it is a commerce order. I can also show you here how when the payment is processed through Stripe, we get an authorization back, which basically has our authorization code and the token. We can use this to do our capture once we ship the items, for example. So the only other thing I wanted to show here as part of this demo is deactivating the site. So if it was something where you had a seasonal site and you wanted to hide the site, you can easily take this offline. So we'll go back into our Commerce microsite here and edit it by unchecking the box for active. Then press save. You'll also want to click publish so your changes go into effect. Now, if we come back out here to Scott's Lighting, we'll see if the site's no longer up and running. See, the site is down now. You can activate and deactivate the site as needed without starting from scratch each time. So that is our Microsite Accelerator for Salesforce Commerce on Core. Be sure to reach out if you have any questions or would like to see more. Thanks.